Raiders Nation, it's that time again. Monday Night Football is just around the corner, and I've got my eyes locked on every detail for this matchup. I can't help but look back at some of the greatest moments we've shared watching these games together. Honestly, there have been so many incredible watch parties over the years, but if I had to pick one that sticks out the most, it's that unforgettable moment when the Raiders punched their ticket to the playoffs and sent the Chargers packing. That night, the energy was off the charts, and I still remember the adrenaline, the screams, and the pure joy of watching this team accomplish something special. Last season, I made a bet with my boss about the Raiders taking down the Chargers, and let's just say, it didn't go unnoticed. I'm running 6 miles this weekend, wearing a cut-off jersey, all in the name of Raider pride. I want to send a message to every Chargers fan out there, all 3 of them, and show the world exactly how we celebrate Raider victories. Last week, we hit over 200,000 viewers, and this week, I'm aiming to push that number even higher. If you live and breathe silver and black, if you can't stand the Chargers, this is where you need to be. Turn on those notifications, join in early, and let's make this Monday night unforgettable. Now, let's break down what I'm looking for in this game, starting with the quarterback. Geno Smith had an incredible debut last week, and all eyes are going to be on whether he can build off that momentum. Playing at home in a dome could be just the boost he needs. Over 14 starts with the Seahawks indoors, Smith has shown he can dominate, posting 30 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions with a quarterback rating over 110. That's the kind of efficiency the Raiders need if they're going to stretch the field and keep the Chargers' defense on their heels. Against New England last week, the Raiders were aggressive, connecting on 9 throws over 20 yards despite a tough rainy environment. Compare that to Mahomes against the Chargers, who could only manage 3 similar plays, and you see the opportunity. The goal is to push the ball downfield, to get Geno moving and confident, because when he's in rhythm, he's unstoppable. 362 yards, a touchdown, and a 70% completion rate in his first game says it all. Shifting to the running game, I've got my jersey ready and my eyes on Gentry. There's been a lot of talk about him, much of it negative, but the offensive line hasn't received nearly enough credit. Patience will be key for Gentry this week, and the lanes will open if he trusts his blocks and reads them properly. Even in last week's muddy field, there were opportunities, but conditions held him back. If the Raiders want to stretch defenses, they need to mix it up, get Gentry on wheel routes, throw screens, let him find open space. Confidence grows when a back can make something happen on his own, and against a Chargers defense that ranked 3rd in running back yards allowed last week, he's going to need every bit of that confidence. Khalil Mack has historically been a nightmare for the Raiders, but if they can neutralize him, that could swing momentum early. On the wide receiver front, Jacoby Myers is the one I'm watching closely. If any limitations appear for Brock Bowers leading up to the game, Myers, Trey Tucker, and Dante Thornton will need to step up in a big way. Last week, Jacoby led the team with 10 targets, and I expect a similar strategy. Pre-snap motion will be crucial, especially for Tucker, to read the Chargers' coverage, man or zone, and exploit matchups. Dante Thornton Jr., the rookie field stretcher with elite speed, could be a game-changer if paired against a slower cornerback. These matchups are exactly what Raiders coaching will look to exploit: take shots downfield, force defenses to react, and capitalize on every mismatch. Quarterback to wide receiver connections are vital, but so is balance. Getting too tight, ends on the field, can help support the offensive line while still opening space for the receivers and running backs. The Raiders' offensive line needs to bring their best this week. Last week, 14 pressures and 9 hurries on Geno showed where improvements are needed. The Chargers love to bring pressure, but if the Raiders can hold the line and give Geno the time he needs, it could make all the difference. The running game, the blocking, and smart route combinations will define whether the offense can consistently move the chains and keep defenses honest. Tight end play is another area to watch. Brock Bowers may be slightly limited with a knee concern, but if he's on the field, he has to be a focal point. If Bowers is restricted, Michael Mayer could step up and absorb more targets, giving the Raiders flexibility in 12 personnel sets. This versatility could be key against the Chargers defense that has shown it can adapt quickly. Using both tight ends to support the line while still finding creative ways to attack the secondary will test the Chargers' discipline and make space for explosive plays. Offense sets the stage, but defense often decides the game. The Raiders' defensive front must be ready to bring pressure and disrupt Justin Herbert. Max Crosby is the star, and his ability to get home will determine how uncomfortable Herbert becomes. Tyree Wilson and Malcolm Kuhn contributed last week, but consistent pressure and smart coverage are what will force mistakes. Making Herbert uncomfortable early can turn a potentially confident quarterback into one who struggles, and that's the kind of edge the Raiders need on Monday night. Defensive tackles also play a huge role in controlling the line of scrimmage. Players like Thomas Booker impressed with their first-step quickness and ability to generate pressure, even without registering a sack. If the Raiders can win the trenches against the Chargers, it could completely throw off their game plan. Running backs Amari and Hampton only averaged just over 3 yards per carry against Kansas City, so matching physicality up front and maintaining gap discipline will be critical. Linebackers need to be ready to engage tight ends and running backs, keeping everything in front of them and preventing easy completions. This is a team built on fundamentals, but when you combine strategic offensive plays with relentless defense, the Raiders have a chance to dictate the pace. Watching how the cornerbacks adjust to receivers, how safeties handle deep threats, and how linebackers communicate across the field will provide insight into whether this team can execute under pressure. Every matchup counts, from the trenches to the skill positions, and every player stepping onto Allegiant Stadium's field knows the stakes. As we shift our focus to the secondary, this is where the Raiders will either shine or find themselves tested like never before. Cornerback play is going to be under the microscope, and honestly, I'm excited to see how the matchups shake out. With Keenan Allen and other Chargers receivers capable of stretching the field, our corners are going to have to be disciplined, physical, and smart in their coverage. Eric Stokes and Kai Blue Kelly are going to be relied on heavily, and it's all about not giving up the big play. One lapse deep, one misstep, and the momentum could swing instantly. That's why I want to see constant communication, with corners reading the quarterback, understanding route combinations, and making adjustments on the fly. The Chargers are unpredictable at times, but they have a very talented wide receiver room that has consistently made plays. This is not a matchup to underestimate, and Raider Nation knows it. Safeties will play a pivotal role in containing the Chargers' passing attack. Isaiah Polamau made some key stops last week, and his ability to patrol the boundary and provide support in coverage will be critical. Jeremy Chin had a tough moment with a touchdown allowed, but the secondary as a whole needs to stay disciplined, trust their eyes, and anticipate the Chargers' patterns. Safeties will be the difference between allowing explosive plays and keeping drives manageable. Every read counts. If the Raiders can maintain leverage in the back end, funnel receivers toward the linebackers, and support the corners effectively, they can force hesitation from Herbert, making him second-guess decisions and potentially creating turnovers. Special teams, often the unsung heroes, could also tilt the balance in this game. Daniel Carlson has to be perfect in his kicking game. Every extra point, every field goal matters, especially in a close matchup like this. He missed a tough 59-yard attempt last week, but we know what he's capable of. In a contract year, you can expect Carlson to put everything on the line and come through when it counts. Punting and field position are equally important. A.J. Cole needs to improve after a shaky week 1. Field placement can dictate the defensive strategy, and giving up short fields is never ideal against a team like the Chargers. Coverage units, punt returns, and kickoff execution all have to be sharp. A single misstep here could create an explosive opportunity for the opposing offense. Raider Nation knows that every inch of field matters, and Monday night is no exception. The Chargers like to push the ball downfield, so defensive backs must stay disciplined without biting on fakes or misdirections. Raiders safeties and corners have to read the play, trust their instincts, and limit yards after the catch. In today's NFL, the passing game can be explosive, and being proactive rather than reactive is essential. Raider defenders need to stay alert, keep leverage, and maintain gap integrity to avoid giving up those momentum-shifting plays. This is a high-stakes chess match, and every defensive assignment will be tested. The linebacker group will also face significant pressure. Against tight ends and running backs, they must be physical and aware, particularly if the Chargers try to exploit mismatches in the middle of the field. Last week, the Raiders limited targets from these positions, but the Chargers will likely adjust, looking for weak spots. Players like Jermaine Pratt and Devin White have to maintain gap discipline, read the play quickly, and react decisively. Jamal Adams is another key figure. He needs to be vocal, aggressive, and aware at all times. Communication between linebackers and the secondary is critical to ensuring no one gets caught out of position. Each play will demand awareness, speed, and physicality. Rookie contributions could be game-changing as well. Watching young talent step up against experienced Chargers players will be fascinating. Defensive linemen like Thomas Booker impressed last week with quickness and pressure generation, even without recording a sack. Rookies and young players bring energy and unpredictability, which can disrupt offensive rhythm. If the Raiders can blend experienced stars with these emerging talents, it could create opportunities for turnovers and big stops. Depth in the defensive rotation will also matter, as maintaining fresh legs on the field keeps pressure consistent. The Chargers' offensive line is formidable, but the Raiders have talent on the edge and up front. Winning the line of scrimmage, particularly against high-caliber rushers, will dictate how much pressure Geno Smith can face. Defensive schemes must be flexible, mixing zone blitzes and four-man rushes to confuse Herbert and force mistakes. Max Crosby's role is critical here. His ability to collapse the pocket, force quick decisions, and disrupt timing could define the tone of the game. Tyree Wilson's growth and Malcolm Kuhn's contributions add another layer, and the Raiders need every ounce of pressure they can generate to create opportunities for interceptions, sacks, or hurried throws. This is also a mental game. The Chargers are capable of scoring quickly, and the Raiders must remain composed even if Herbert connects on an early big play. Confidence and poise on defense will dictate how the team responds. Raider veterans need to lead by example, communicating adjustments, and making sure everyone is on the same page. Every play, every snap, every assignment matters. Mistakes are magnified in prime time, and the Raiders' focus must remain sharp from kickoff to the final whistle. Special teams coordination goes beyond kicking and punting. Coverage teams need to anticipate returns, execute lane discipline, and prevent big gains. Field position is everything, especially in a tight game where every yard matters. Coaches will emphasize discipline, communication, and proper alignment, ensuring that the Raiders limit opportunities for the Chargers to capitalize on special teams. Returners, blockers, and gunners all have roles that could sway momentum in crucial moments. As the kickoff approaches, the Raiders' mindset has to be precise, aggressive, and confident. From the trenches to the skill positions, every player stepping on Allegiant Stadium's field knows the magnitude of this game. It's about preparation, execution, and seizing opportunities. Raider Nation is ready for a show, and this team is poised to give us a Monday Night Football spectacle. Defensive fundamentals, offensive creativity, and special teams execution all intertwine to create a game that could come down to the smallest margins. With the silver and black focused, disciplined, and ready, this matchup against the Chargers has all the ingredients for a showdown that Raider fans will remember for years to come. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be the most shocking NFL news of the decade, whispers are circulating that Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback, is considering a seismic move straight to Las Vegas. The rumor mill is ablaze, and sources close to the matter are claiming that Mahomes is leaning toward the Raiders, sparking a frenzy among fans and pundits alike. While the Chiefs have been the backdrop of Mahomes' meteoric rise, from Super Bowl glory to MVP honors, the idea of him donning silver and black seems almost unthinkable, but that hasn't stopped the chatter. Insiders suggest that negotiations between Mahomes' camp and the Raiders are in their early stages but already intense. The allure of a new city, a high-stakes atmosphere, and a team hungry for a superstar quarterback is proving hard to ignore. He's ready for a fresh challenge, one source claimed, speaking under condition of anonymity. For Las Vegas, acquiring Mahomes would be an instant game-changer, elevating the Raiders from hopeful contenders to instant Super Bowl dark horses. Imagine Allegiant Stadium packed with fans screaming for a quarterback whose talent is almost unmatched in modern football history. Meanwhile, Kansas City fans are reportedly in disbelief. Social media is ablaze with speculation, memes, and heartfelt pleas for Mahomes to stay. The Chiefs, who have built their offense around his brilliance, would face a massive shakeup if the rumor materializes. Analysts are already debating the financial and strategic implications of such a move. Would the Raiders dismantle their current roster to build around him? Could Mahomes' decision trigger a chain reaction of trades and free agent signings across the league? The possibilities are endless, and the NFL landscape could be reshaped overnight. Though no official confirmation has been made, the buzz is undeniable. Patrick Mahomes may be ready to swap the heart of Kansas for the glitz and spectacle of Las Vegas. Fans on both coasts are holding their breath, waiting to see if the league's most electrifying quarterback is about to make the most talked-about move in recent memory. If true, this isn't just a transfer. It's a seismic shift that could redefine the NFL for years to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.